I told my parents I'd leave town if they tried cramming 5 adults into my tiny apartment. My parents had been begging me to visit for years. I live in this popular tourist city, and they kept saying they wanted to see where I lived and spend time with me. So after months of asking, they finally booked tickets to stay with me for an entire month. I was actually excited about it. My place is small, just a 1-bedroom with a bed, couch, and my TV setup. I don't even have a dining table or real chairs because I can barely afford rent as it is. But I figured we'd make it work for a month. My parents are chill. We'd order takeout, watch movies, explore the city together. I'd already planned out this whole bachelorette trip for my friend's wedding that weekend they were arriving. I told my parents about it months in advance. They knew I'd be gone for 2 days at the start of their trip, but they said it was fine. They'd use that time to settle in and explore on their own. Then 3 weeks before they were supposed to arrive, my mom called me sounding all casual. She goes, "Oh, by the way, your dad invited Greg and Linda to stay with us at your place." Greg and Linda are my parents' friends from their neighborhood. Nice enough people, but I barely know them. I was confused. I asked what she meant by stay with us. She explained that Greg apparently has some business connections that could help my dad's company land this big contract, so they invited them to come on the trip and stay at my apartment too. Family style, she called it. I did the math in my head. That's 5 full-grown adults in my 400-square-foot apartment with 1 bed and 1 couch. I don't even have enough floor space for air mattresses. My bathroom is the size of a closet. I told my mom that wasn't going to work. 5 people can't live in my apartment. It's physically impossible. She just laughed it off and said we'd figure it out. Then she suggested that maybe I could stay at my friend's place while everyone was there, to give them more room. I felt my blood pressure spike. This friend she was talking about, we've had this weird one-sided friendship for years. I'm always the one helping her out, lending her money, doing favors. I finally set some boundaries, and now my mom wanted me to go ask if I could crash there for a month, so I could give up my own apartment for my parents' business friends. I told her no. I said maybe Greg and Linda should stay at a hotel. There are like 50 hotels within walking distance of my place. My mom got all offended and said that would be rude. Apparently Greg and Linda specifically wanted to stay with family, to get the authentic local experience or whatever, but they're not my family. They're my parents' friends who I've met maybe 3 times in my life. I barely said 2 sentences to Linda at their Christmas party last year. My dad got on the phone and started doing his disappointed voice, the one where he sighs really loud and talks about how they raised me better than this. He said they were doing this for business, and I should be more supportive. That's when I snapped. I told them if Greg and Linda showed up at my apartment, I wouldn't be there. I'd book myself a trip and leave town for however long they were staying. My mom completely lost it. She started yelling about how disrespectful I was being, how I was ruining their trip and embarrassing them in front of Greg and Linda. She said, what if there was an emergency while they were visiting? What if they needed me to help them figure out the bus system or find a good restaurant? Like I'm supposed to be their tour guide while also giving up my home. I stood my ground. I said they had 2 choices. Come visit me like we originally planned, just the 3 of us, or bring their friends and I'll go somewhere else. My dad called me selfish. He said after everything they've done for me, I can't even do this one thing to help his career. But here's what really got me. That college fund I had growing up, the one they promised would pay for school, mysteriously disappeared my sophomore year. They needed it for a down payment on a bigger house. I've been in debt and working 2 jobs ever since. My mom sent me this long guilt trip text about family obligations and how disappointed she was in me. She said I was being immature and that real adults make sacrifices for their parents. I haven't responded. I've got my bags packed and I'm looking at flights to Miami for that whole month if they don't cancel with Greg and Linda.